Hello travelers, Tara here, and we have finally arrived not only at the end of May 2018, but we are also boasting a full moon in Sagittarius. So that means that Sun will be at 8 Gemini, Moon will be at opposite the sky, 8 Sagittarius. For those of you who have your charts, take a look at them and see what planets, points, or bodies that you have at either 7, 8, or 9 Gemini, or 7, 8, or 9 Sagittarius, but also anything at 0 and maybe 12 degrees Gemini, because there's another transit that's happening around Gemini, and I'm not exactly sure what that is. I haven't had an opportunity to take a look at my software today. You did get your transit watch, website members. You got your full moon report, and there's a couple of articles coming out. I am working on, I haven't started yet, but today I'm going to be working on getting the individual monthlies posted up to the website. And I'm also going to be working on the elemental readings for non-members here on YouTube. New members, welcome. Old members, thanks. Subscribers, thank you for sticking with me. I'm going to be starting a new venture. I talked about it. I'm going to be doing mobile tarot services here in Corpus Christi area. So any of you who are watching, you can contact me for information through the website, the support desk ticket. And it's basically, you know, get 4 or 5 people together, and then I'll come over another channel and read for you. And basically channeling, I do channeling through my cards, okay? So that's what I have for you. We're going to take a look at what this full moon might be holding for us. Full moons are always a time of, if not conflict with others, then conflict within yourself. So you're asked to, if possible, and if you can, hold off any major decisions until at least, 3 days after the full moon, when your emotions can come back into balance. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and use the Prisma Visions Tarot. Okay, I have not used these cards in quite a while. This is a general reading, and the messages will not resonate with everyone. In order to gain any clearer insight and perspective into your own situation requires a personal reading. That personal reading is where I access you and any other the people that you're reading about, or the situation that you're reading about, through your birth date, and I access the Akashic records to channel those messages through. My turnaround time is between 24 to 48 hours, depending on upon my own personal circumstances, and I have several different levels of tarot card readings. With that said, let's lay the cards. 3 of Pentacles and the Chariot. And the 3 of Wands. Wow, that's interesting. I will show you these cards. The Strength card has come out. So some kind of Leo aspect, a Cancer aspect. The King of Pentacles. Also a Taurus aspect, but this is a court card, so we're looking at an earth sign male, perhaps. So this is going to be whether same-sex or heterosexual, whomever's going to take the role of the male, if this is not you yourself. So we're looking at a Taurus individual for sure. But he could also be of the other earth signs of Capricorn and or Virgo. This person could either be a fire sign sun and an earth sign moon, or vice versa. Do know that in my personal readings, I do not read for rising signs or moon signs. I only need the sun sign, okay? If you want to go in depth with rising signs and moon signs, then that would be an astrology transit watch. For tarot readings, I just do sun signs. Now, the Temperance, and there's Sagittarius. Wow. Whomever this person is, let's say the rest of the cards. The Hermit. The Ten of Swords. And the Four of Chalices. Or Cups. Underneath the deck, well, when you know it. Suspended activity. There's the Hanged Man. Now, I have 2 Pentacles. Two Pentacles, a Cup, a Swords, and a Wand. But I also have 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana cards. Now, here's what I'm looking at, and here what let me show you the cards. The 3 of Pentacles, the Chariot card, the 3 of Wands, the Strength card, the King of Pentacles. I love him. The Temperance card. He makes me laugh because he's upside down on the bull. The Hermit. See that lone figure there standing on the bridge with the full moon? And so this is something that is occurring, or something that will be triggered around this full moon, because the Hanged Man has come out. Neptune is the ruler of the moon, and what's so interesting is I also have the Chariot here, which is the Cancer card. It is also ruled by the moon. So I have these 3 different interpretations, or 2 different interpretations of the moon, and this moment of decision. This is what it looks like to me. Here is the Ten of Swords. Now that's an interesting card because you kind of see this figure of a bird who's got this person caught up in their talons. This wheel of 10 swords, and the person is, in a sense, just kind of being carried away. He's been pierced by all of these swords, okay, and he's being carried away exactly as he is in that particular wheel. And I think that wheel is also some kind of link back to the Temperance card, because this card is ruled by Jupiter, and it is also the sign of Sagittarius, and that ranks is associated with the Wheel of Fortune. Something is definitely changing here. And then it ends with this 4 of Cups, this 4 of Chalices, somebody kind of sitting in a moment of timeout and peace. Nothing's being offered to him, but we do see that one of his cups has been turned over. You see that? 2 of his cups have been turned over. That's interesting because you normally don't see that in the regular 4 of Cups, right? He's got 2 cups that are overturned. But what is most interesting to me about this, and these cards are really awesome cards. As a matter of fact, James Reed has a new deck coming out. I'm interested in getting it. But I don't know if you can see how the wing sort of blends in with that kind of a spiral thing that's happening, and the same colors are picked up. Now, what's interesting about this deck, I want to show you something. Let me go through here and get the 9 of Swords card so I can show you what is so absolutely awesome about this particular deck. when you lay the different suits out, the different suits all piece together to make not only a story, but a piece of artwork. Look, there's the Nine of Swords. See that? So not only is this goose in effect bringing one prize or reward or prey or captive, but he's also about to eat another. Okay? See? But what we have is this. This is what is so absolutely, I think, brilliant about the way that he has formulated this deck, put it together. When I purchased it from him, I said, hey, look, I'm going to do a reading for you on YouTube with your deck, and I want you to come by and read, and I'll plug your cards for you. And he emailed me back after watching it, and he goes, oh my God, you know, he goes, that was a very, very different interpretation of the way I wrote the cards. He said, but oddly enough, you were telling me my story. So, this King of Pentacles. What I'm looking at, past, present, future, and the interplay of the cards. The Three of Pentacles, we're talking about some kind of venture, but it's something that someone has been doing alone. Okay, normally in the Rider-Waite deck, we see three people standing together. But here we have somebody who's been building this thing up alone. And he has the faith that whatever it is that he's not worried and he's not upset about the fact that he's doing this work alone. It implies, because it's a Mason, it implies that he is literally, he's building, not only is he building something, but he's got a particular set of skills. Okay. And we see that there's this church window, and to me that is about the absolute faith that this person has in whatever it is they're trying to build. Okay. Now, I don't know if he's trying to wall himself off, okay, or if he simply is just building a structure. But we also see that the Chariot has come. So there's some movement. So this Three of Pentacles, something that has been built or someone has been focused on building and having that absolute faith, has actually been able, it's now moving. Okay, it's starting to move forward. The person is perhaps not only moving forward in terms of their financial or their business dealings, but they're also working on some kind of spiritual movement at the same time. It is the Chariot card. That card, the Cancer card, rules the 4th house. So this is about home, homeland, country, state, city, town. It rules mothers, it rules children, it rules the maternal lineage. So this is your DNA and your cultural heritage. And we see that there's this Three of Wands that's here. So it's almost like the person is literally, whatever they're doing, they're literally driving themselves forward. And there is a new fire that is coming, a new focus, a new determination, and a new ambition. To me, that's what the Wands are. Threes are always the start of something. Two things coming together to make a third thing. All right? That's what is in the past. For some of you, this has already started. For others of you, you're going through it right now. For the rest of you, this is going to be something that's going to be triggered by this full moon. But then we see on the present row the Strength card, the King of Pentacles, and the Temperance. And they're both fire energies. Temperance is a fire card. It represents Sagittarius. So we have Leo on one side, Sagittarius on the other. Strength. Being fearless. But at the same time, this person is, they're taking a risk, but they're also kind of upside down in this. Okay, they got this bull by the horns. They really do have it in a sense kind of under control, And the person is also upside down. They're taking a risk here. So I think this is about somebody trying to gather their strength, marshal their forces, and in a sense make a bet on, okay, whatever this thing is. Now we know that we have Uranus has just moved into Taurus, and Taurus rules not only your personal monies and personal possessions, but it's also the ruler of the stock market, the world stock market. And what do you do in stock markets? You hedge your bets, you take risk, and sometimes those things work out, sometimes those things don't. Wow. I really start to sweat when my spirits step in. I'm sweating like crazy. But nevertheless, this says that this is a person who, in effect, is not that risk averse. Let me put it that way. But this Temperance card, there is a highly emotional component in this. This is the idea of fire and water, right? And trying to maintain that particular balance. What it is I desire most, and what am I going to do to get that? But we do know that if it is out of balance, the fire can make the water so hot that it boils over and the container becomes empty. But we also know that the water can become so strong it can eventually drown out the fire. So something is in the balance, let me put it that way. The wheel. Okay, it's kind of like the wheels going back and forth like this. All right, that's really what my guides are showing me. So here's this hermit who is standing in the moonlight on a bridge. Bridges represent movement, but it's about crossing from one side to the other, right? That's how, it bridges things. It brings two areas together, two people together, two different places together. In Europe, in some places, you can get on a bridge and walk from one country to the other, right? So this is really this idea of someone who's standing, I want to say, not necessarily between two worlds, but yes, okay. Now, it is this Ten of Swords that has come, because it looks as though wherever this person is trying to go through this risk is going to, in one way, end up being detrimental to him in some sense. It is that card that stands out the most to me. Again, there's this idea that the person is being carried from one side to the other. You see, we don't know really what comes after this, and I can't remember in how he's got the suit set up so that I can see what comes after this. I'm not sure if it's the Pentacles. Let me see here, or the Cups. I can't remember. I'll have to find. Let me see if I can find that for you, so we can kind of see where this person is coming from. There's the Nine of Swords, a 10, so it's going to be an ace, whatever it is. And I can't remember if it's an Ace of Pentacles or if it's an Ace of Wands. I think it's the Ace of Pentacles. I'll see in a moment once I find the card. Because it could be swords as well. Hold on. Because I just saw the Ace of Swords. At least I think I did. No, it's not swords. It would be pentacles, or pentacles, I believe. Bear with me, bear with me. I think this is significant, so just kind of bear with me. They're trying to tell me something. as if the person was unable to accept this particular offer, that the energy is going back this way and they are now at a moment. Oh, come on. There it is. Isn't that funny? It's not that card either. I don't know. Let me look in the book, and that will show me what comes next. I might have should have done that to begin with. What am I looking at? The Ten of Swords. Yes, it is the Ace of Pentacles. No, it's not. It would be the Page. I'm so retarded. It would be the Page of Swords. I don't know why I jumped all the way to aces. You know, and I ran across that and saw that, but I didn't snap to it. So that would be the Page of Swords. Let's take a look at that. Let's put it together and take a look at it. Swords. Judgment. High Priestess. There he is. There it is, yes. Remember I was talking about that chasm? That abyss, that space, having to cross that, but being carried, and being carried through either some kind of news or message or some kind of rationalization or truth. We don't know if this Page is the person who used all of those swords to stab that individual or not. Putting up a fight, so to speak, and then suddenly the situation is kind of taken maybe out of context or out of hand, and the person is flown back across or through see, birds represent thoughts and flight and idea. So we're still talking about some sort of news or message, some kind of communication here. But what it looks like is that the person, all of this energy is moving back this way. And it looks as though the person, there's a choice here that the person has to make. There are 4 cups. 4 cups imply that there was something stable, emotionally solid. Maybe it was also something that's been stuck. But 2 cups are overturned. So that means that there's something that the person, I think, had to give up. Now, I don't know necessarily if this is about somebody who has some kind of addiction. These cups, this temperance, look at this. And who is maybe in rehab. The Hermit does represent Virgo. Or needs to go to rehab. To take some time out to rest their bodies and their minds. Virgo represents mind, body, spirit connection. One does not operate without the other. I don't see this as a medical issue. There's 3 of Pentacles, Temperance, and the Hermit. Then the 3 of Wands is Strength, and then the 4 of Chalices. So this could also be just in effect that someone is in a place where, even though maybe around them everything is okay, they themselves are upside down and they feel some kind of betrayal or loss of something that they were not able to accept for whatever reason. I don't know what that reason is. We're going to look at that. But we see that this person is in effect kind of letting that thing fly away. He's letting that person go. Okay, that person feels completely like overkill. Man, I can't believe you did that shit to me. And then suddenly, so let's read the cards, and I want you to take a look at this Hermit card. We see the body of this figure underwater, but we don't see the face. And what does Neptune do? Neptune brings fog and illusions. He's about the subconscious and the unconscious, past lives, secret enemies, things that you do behind the scenes without getting any recognition or credit for. It speaks to psychic experiences. Let's go to the cards. We're going to start with this Three of Pentacles here. I don't know what my cat just knocked over. After the early stages of a project, there is a surge of pleasure in realizing you've achieved some tangible level of competency. Take pride in your work. Be meticulous and patient, giving credit to the noble endeavor you've chosen to undertake. Likewise, as each brick supports its brother, this is a good time to interlock your plan with other visions. Let other people's input influence your own. This is a great time to build stability and trust. And we see somebody really, really marshaling all of their forces to do that. We know that the Chariot is a card in which, in the regular deck, it is can take a long time to get where you're going. But, you know, you just keep the car in the middle of the road. Don't drive too fast. Don't fall asleep. You know, you may have to pull over and take a nap or pull over and rest as you continue on your journey. Being completely self-assured is a rare and glorious moment. There it is. That's what I was missing. If through careful preparation, self-discipline, and steady determination, you find yourself a victor, you have every right to be proud of your accomplishments. Direct this energy into further efforts and have total confidence in your abilities. You clearly demonstrated to yourself and to the world that what you can achieve. Forge on, refusing to let any obstacle stand in your way. Somebody at this particular moment has gotten themselves in a predicament. Being completely self-assured, they have taken a risk, and in some aspects this particular risk has not gone the way they want it to. Now they need to regroup. Three of Wands. That's what I was missing. After the initial whoosh of intensity, thoughtful maintenance is required to keep a fire burning. Painstaking placement of this kindling will nurture the flames into longevity. So too must an incipient vision be fed and sustained. Your idea is starting to catch. Don't rage into a blaze or douse yourself unnecessarily with doubt or dismay. Small victories and careful progress suggest you are succeeding. Strength card. It's easy to slink away from a tough situation, but it takes real strength to surmount one's obstacles and press on. It is possible to be indomitable. By being resolute through difficult times and sustaining a strong, impenetrable core, you can forge on indefinitely, constantly renewing your horizons. Do not be afraid, as fear is the mind killer. You need only to believe yourself unconquerable for it to be so. I do feel this person's going to forge ahead. I just don't know what this is all about. King of Pentacles. If you crave mastery of your environment, there is no better card to draw than the King of Pentacles. He is the pinnacle of experience, hard work, and blunt intelligence. And as a result, he is relied upon in his community for his competence. Embody his power and ability to get things done. You do not need to wait for inspiration. You can stoke the fire within yourself and master all your strength and hurdle over anything that stands in your way. So he's actually hurdling over this particular bull. Temperance. Although I think he's upside down. I mean, we see that he is, but I just, my guides are telling me that he's upside down. Learning to maintain a balance is essential to survival. Though temptations will perpetually beckon, most sensual delights will prove sweeter in moderation. In excess can be toxic. Don't numb or harm yourself through overindulgence. If you find yourself with more than you need, a neighbor may benefit from your surplus. By sharing with others, life retains its distinct and magnificent flavors. So I'm saying I think he's bitten off, in a sense, more than he can chew in some fashion. The Hermit. Relationships with others are essential, but before we can communicate with others, we must be able to communicate with ourselves. When your thoughts are consistently muddled or diluted, take some time to uncloud your vision by gently removing yourself from society. Search within yourself for answers, and you may be surprised by what you find. Don't worry about the sudden silence. It is merely expectant, waiting for you to speak. So, remember I kept saying there's some kind of message or news, but I think for someone it has already come through. In a Byzantine way, the Ten of Swords can be quite encouraging. After the dread and anguish leading up to this moment, the worst has finally fallen. Your misfortunes have defeated you. Find peace at last in the quiet repose of death. In other words, remember I said, this is about somebody having to recognize that they've got to let something go. This is what this is telling me. Four of Cups. Life, for all its splendor, will sometimes lose its taste. This is most often a sign of overindulgence. Inundating yourself with some fascination will deaden your senses to its unique charm and flavors. If you find yourself growing apathetic to a steady routine, stir things up within yourself. Resist the urge to settle. Though it may seem like a mighty effort, force yourself to be creative and original and imbibe on the stream of life. I think this is someone who's trying to reconcile, quote unquote, one addiction for another. This could be an addiction to a toxic relationship. It could be an addiction to the way somebody is working or living their life, or what they have in effect kind of perhaps devoted themselves to. And they're finding now that whatever it is that they've been doing, they've been overdoing it, and it no longer has the same flavor and or the same taste. This is why I think that there's something, that wheel is like this. Let's read this Hanged Man. If you don't go somewhere, sit down. The Hanged Man. Society would have you believe the idea that active mastery of your environment leads to greater fulfillment. Now remember, this card was saying mastering your environment. No doubt in many ways this is true. But when life has transgressed beyond your control through your own doing or the random unhappiness of fate, sometimes the best thing you can do is to surrender. Choose not to react. Rather, focus on the lucidity gained of suffering. Forsake action for insight, so you may live to fight another day. That's why that wheel is like this. And that's why this person is standing on the bridge. This is a real internal conflict for this individual. Now, 2 3s mean, let me give it to you. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. 2 3s mean some kind of surprise. Let me give it to you now. Tells of a small but pleasant surprise. Right? There is no Uranian energy here. This is kind of not what I'm picking up. Let's see if I can take a look. The 3 of Wands next to the Justice. It is a message of encouragement, as eventually you will benefit from all your past efforts. Keep going, as you will reap better than expected rewards. Now, this is kind of like the Wheel of Fortune. I think the person has, in a sense, kind of lost hope in the situation. They recognize that they've really kind of done all that they can do, but they also recognize they're at a point where they recognize whatever situation that they're in, they themselves have placed themselves through it, perhaps through some kind of religious belief or the illusion of. Next to the Wheel of Fortune, this is not the Wheel of Fortune, but it's got the same energy. It tells that a positive attitude will bring about results. That's coming. But right now everything is kind of frozen. Okay. Now I want to look at this Three of Pentacles here, and then I'm going to give you the other interpretation of the two threes. We want to see next to these what do you call it? Major Arcana cards here. Again, kind of this idea of the Wheel of Fortune tells you to have faith and trust in your own talents. You will find success in your endeavors. Well, I told you that. There's that church window. That was the principle of faith for me. Now, the only other card I can look at is the Ten of Pentacles and the Four of Chalices. Those are my only, what do you call it? My only other pip cards that I have here. Go sit down, Leo. Leonardo DiCaprio. That's his name. Anyway. He's a hot mess. Ten of Swords next to the Hermit. Indicates that a great deal of thorough examination and consideration is needed prior to taking on future activities and plans. There is a need for deep thought and contemplation, and it is a message to consider all future activities before taking any action. Some action is definitely going to occur. I just don't know how or why. This doesn't look like necessarily a work situation. It doesn't necessarily look like a romance situation. This looks like some kind of life issue where someone's trying to move to the next level spiritually. They've done all they can do spiritually for their growth with what they've accomplished, and it's like they've been trying to continue forward. They do see some gains, and they've got that passion, that desire, but they're at a place where they're not. Something has to change, and I don't think the person knows exactly what that is yet. Okay. Four of Cups. Oh gosh. Wow. Kind of like the Wheel of Fortune. Remember, we're talking about that. This is what keeps coming up for me when I speak about that Wheel of Fortune. See that wheel and that spiral. So we have this next to all three cards, kind of like the Wheel of Fortune. It tells of a new direction and new interest coming about, usually within a fortnight, 14 days, the 2-week time frame from the full moon to the new moon. It asks you to become fully involved, as this will lead to a beneficial outcome for all concerned. It tells of a new interest coming up over the next 14-day cycle, and implies that involvement is imperative. In other words, do not assume that your efforts will be wasted. What you're going to have to do, however, is to really concentrate and focus your energy. Next to the Hanged Man. Indicates that someone who is wallowing in self-pity has lost their direction and feels in a bind. It indicates a time of self-pity and feeling sorry for yourself. The message is that it is up to the individual to help themselves out of the predicament. That's what I said. They realize now that they have put themselves, they've been driving themselves in this position. And now they know that it has to change. They don't know what to do, though. That was the Hanged Man. Next to the Hermit. Tells of a gentle inner peace and personal satisfaction and fulfillment coming into your life. It tells that satisfaction will surround and encompass you, and it brings a message that solitude will bring about spiritual enlightenment. So I think this is really about somebody really trying to get to their own truth, in the sense of how did they arrive at this particular juncture in their life. Now I want to look at, hold on. The 2 3s here. And I have a 7 and 8, a 9, and the Temperance is, I think, 14 or 15. I can't do my Roman numerals. Two threes. One of you is craving more change and excitement. Well, we see that. Let's go to the Vida Sibilas. Wow, this is a long reading. I didn't plan on it being that long. I'm going to take just a look at this Ten of Swords. And then I'm going to pull an angel answer card and close this reading down. So let's see what this news or this message is, or this rationalization or realization. Someone is about to come to a point where they're not going to have any choice, but, well, they always have choice. But I think they're starting to realize that surrendering to this process, whatever it is, oh, well, it involves a woman, Namaste, female. Melancholia, depression, and sadness. And the Three of Cups, Allegrezza al cuore. Look, I feel that either some of you are dealing with a person that you have had to, you recognize that you accept the situation for what it is, okay? But honestly, and you may have had to tell that person, no, that doesn't work for me, or come back when you got your shit together, right? But honestly, this is all masculine energy here, and strongly masculine. There's a heavy sexual component to this, and the cards are talking about indulgence and the flavors and tasting and the buffet and the benefit of life, the physical plane. So that includes the five senses, right? And what I think this is that a male, whether same-sex or heterosexual, whoever's going to take the role of the male, has found himself in a place where he wants to change. He wants to change not only his life, but his outlook on it. But he is in a predicament of some sort and does not know what to do. And he knows that, you know, and if this is somebody trying to juggle two relationships, he knows that he can't have them both. And I think if you're dealing with somebody like this, you've already made that plain and clear. Not that you told this person you need to make a choice. You've already made your choice, right? And maybe you have said to the person, look, you know, you need to contact me back when you're more serious and when you got your shit together. You know, you have a problem and you're not going to make that my problem, you know. And once you figure it out, whatever it is you got to do to work it out, you know where to find me. That's still no guarantee you're going to, you know, depending on how long the person drags their feet, you may not be around. And I think that person kind of recognizes that. They kind of know that on one level. And so they're in a place or a position where they want to, they don't know what to do. They know exactly what they want, but they are fearful of making that choice and that decision. That's what I'm getting. Okay. So it ain't over till it's over. 14 days at the outset. We're going to look at this romance angel. Well, because all the signs are there, you know, that it's a positive kind of connection, but there are just a lot of other things happening around, and I don't think it has to do per se with you. I think it has to do more so with him. This could even be, to give you an idea, somebody who may travel a lot for work, okay, and is gaining and forging ahead in that, but something is really missing for them in their life, and if they are in a partnership already, that relationship is teetering on the brink. The card just says don't stop, okay? And I think this would be in the sense that if you are dealing with somebody like this, I would think you need to just continue to do what you are doing, and don't be distracted by whatever crap that person got going on. Okay, misery loves company. Remember, we see somebody feeling sorry for themselves when they have made their, you know what them old people say, you made your bed, you lie in it, right? This is not the time to give up. Continue to move in the direction of your hopes, dreams, or plans. You are on the right path, and you should see progress as long as you stay the course. It is very important that you stand your ground and believe in yourself. Don't let others intimidate you into quitting. Just because they don't have your vision doesn't mean you shouldn't follow your heart. So that's what I have for you. I hope that full moon reading helped you. It looked like some drama and fireworks are coming in about 2 weeks. So until next time, if you want to book a reading, my web address is at the bottom of the screen, in the About box section of my channel, and the description box underneath the video. Namaste.